Welcome to another vlog. I'm comparing the Honda City and the Volkswagen Virtus. But before we start, let me tell you about this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve One Splash, which has a very cooling and refreshing feel, specifically useful in the monsoons, because what usually happens now, car feels very mossy with that bad odor, and this one completely removes it. Anyways, we have cars which are very identical in many ways because features are similar, safety wise also it's similar, at least in terms of whatever features are offered. Straight away, let's open the engine bay of this Volkswagen Virtus, and this one is powered by, okay, how am I struggling today? Okay, there we go. It is powered by a 1 liter turbocharged petrol engine, and there is no insulation there. That is kind of a bummer. This one believes there is no replacement for displacement, obviously gets a bigger 1.5 liter petrol engine. There it is, the VTEC motor, which says Earth Dreams technology. There is of course insulation there. Now in terms of size, the Virtus is bigger in every way. It's longer, it's taller, it's wider. In fact, it has wider tires, it has a longer wheelbase as well, bigger fuel tank, bigger boot. It's just bigger in almost every possible way. Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? In fact, the tire size is very similar. The only thing is that the profile is same, 55 on both the cars, and you know, the width is different. So you get 205s here, 185s here, and both of them are 16 inches. You can see the design of the alloy wheels. Which one looks better? Honestly, I am tied down here. I don't know which one to choose. But in terms of design, no denying the fact that the Virtus actually looks a lot fresher. Now they get a lot of LEDs. The light is completely LED here. Nice DRL, of course. There's a projector setup, but the fog lamp happens to be halogen. Nice chrome treatment along with piano black finishing. And this blue color, it looks absolutely phenomenal. The City though gets again all LED lights. Yeah, you get an LED DRL here. This is obviously the indicator. Fog light is also LED. So complete LED, unlike this car. However, when you come to the back, certain things definitely change. Again, chrome has been tastefully used. So tell me which one looks better according to you. I'm honestly in love with the Virtus. I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. The way they have designed the car just blows my mind every time. But the City has a few things up its sleeve. Before that, let's straight away open the boot of the City. So here we go, and yeah, there it opens. You have to put some effort. It's a big boot, okay, 506 liters I think, and there's a spare wheel which is full size and also an alloy wheel. That's kind of nice, but the seat does not fold, so this is the maximum space which you get. In the Virtus though, things are a bit better because firstly I just press the button and there the boot actually goes up. There is no powered or electric function, but yeah, it just pulls up itself, and then it is actually a bigger boot at I think 521 liters, and there the spare wheel is not an alloy. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. In fact, it's smaller at 195 65 15. So there starts Volkswagen's cost cutting. Anyways, this actually splits forward in 40-60 format, so you can increase the boot carrying capacity as well, which brings me to the rear of the car. Which one looks better? Again, my heart is on the VW because those tail lights, they look aftermarket on the Volkswagen. In the City, this is actually a bulb, so not complete LEDs. Here we get complete LEDs, and this chrome insert inside, it's like absolute craziness. What am I saying? Kind of reminds you that, is this actually honestly stock or what? Anyways, I'll just keep the key here so that magically Ajay Devgan will come and change the position of the car so we can talk about the side profiles of this vehicle. And you know what? Neither of these cars flaunt the exhaust. So Faisal Khan's fingers of truth. Very curious, where is the exhaust? So here you see, there's the exhaust of the City. There's the towing hook, and that's the underbody. Meanwhile, here in the Virtus, again, exhaust is hidden right there, and there's a train which is coming there. Okay, they are drag racing, 2 trains are coming at the moment. Camera is placed here, and the camera is placed right there. So round 1 goes to Volkswagen because honestly the design is just better with the Virtus, and you get shark fin antennas in both the cars, but here you get the gloss black finishing. Now let's come to the rear. Before that, let me tell you, there is a request sensor on this side as well, on both the sides. But in the Honda City, you don't have to press a button. You put your hand and bang on, the door unlocks. So that's a better feature in the City, says Volkswagen here. Now you can see the rear seat is actually very spacious, but you know what? It's not comfortable for the center passenger because this kind of hurts them. And although the floor is flat, thankfully you get 2 USB-C charging sockets here. In the City, you do not. You actually get 12-volt charging sockets, so they need to change that for sure. Now, the thing is that the City actually has pocket holders here. Yeah, they are pocket holders. In the Slavia, they have it, but you know what? Volkswagen has actually stitched this part and not given us phone pocket holders. No adjustable seatbelt height in either of the cars, which is very disappointing. Headroom is definitely better here. in the Virtus. And under thigh support also seems better in the Virtus. Leg room and knee room is better in the City, and the City also feels more airy with a larger window, of course, and the beige treatment, which really works. Now the armrest position is better here because it has some space below, so it doesn't like touch the seat. So this is just better to use, and you have got twin cup holders, same as the City, of course. And you have got 3 adjustable headrests, which is fantastic because City gets 0 adjustable headrests at the rear, which is very disappointing. We have got a light here on the top, and there's no sun blind here. The City actually gets a sun blind there, which is kind of cool. So again, everything looks very hard inside this cabin, plasticky, if I may, but not in the City. The City just feels so much more premium with some soft touch materials as well. See the dashboard design? Well, honestly, I like the dashboard design of the City, but this car definitely feels solid. Yeah, it definitely feels solid. Check this out, okay? Yeah, the door has that heft to it, and the cabin also feels better put together. So let's come to the side to see how these cars look from the side. And trust me on this, again, it's the Virtus, which just looks better. Yeah, it just looks so much more premium. It looks like a mini Jetta. So I'm definitely in love with the Virtus. I think the design is fantastic. Even the cuts and creases, the wheels which are bigger. I mean, the tire size is bigger, not the wheels. That also looks nice. And head on, there you can see the Virtus again looks better. The City is fantastic. The Virtus is just better in terms of design and appeal. So let's do one thing. Let's get into the rear seat of the Honda City. And yeah, Ajay Devgan actually swapped the cars very fast. Thank you, Ajay. And here we go. Okay. Now doors open wide enough, but in the City now there's this sense of space and airiness somehow, which just makes it better in rear seat comfort. Because firstly, the recline angle of the rear seat is better in the City, and the problem is this does not recline at all, so you can't increase the boot carrying capacity. The armrest now, here, check this out. It touches down, so that's not the best position. Again, we have got twin cup holders. Why no USB charging sockets? That's kind of a shame here in the City. Rear AC vents, of course, and there you see, yeah, you've got mobile phone pockets here. And this beige treatment works fantastically well. Obviously, both cars come with 6 airbags, ISOFIX child seat mounts, and a lot of those things. But I believe the Virtus will fare much better in terms of overall crash test safety rating. But we'll wait for the global NCAP to actually give us some rating. Door pockets are big enough. I like the way the quality is inside this car. I mean, at least the perceived quality is quite nice. Now, the floor is rising, because of which, under thigh support gets affected a bit. Yeah, under thigh support is not that great. And doors don't have that heft to it. They feel a bit light. Handle to hold on to, no height adjustable seatbelt, which is a big bummer. And these are non-adjustable, which is very shocking. Come on, Honda, how can you not give adjustable headrests at the rear? And let's just put this back into place. So here we have got a sunblind as well. So we have got light placement here on the top. Headroom is a bit of an issue for someone as tall as me. So yeah, overall rear seat, I mean, I'm kind of tied up between both the cars, but I feel City gives you that better airy feel, and the perceived quality is also better. Dashboard also looks quite better in the City, I feel, because there's some soft touch material, so it doesn't glare in your eyes, that hard plastics. Let's get out. Another feature which is better in the Virtus is that the sunroof is actually bigger there. Yeah, that's right. The sunroof is actually bigger here. Check this out, okay? 1, 2, 3, almost 3, 2.5, 3. Here in the City though, the sunroof is smaller. So 1, 2, yeah, 2.15 or something of that sort. That's another thing. Now let's get inside here. For starters, they have cut corners here and there. So only the driver's side power window goes one touch up and down. In the City, it's all the power windows, and which is kind of shocking because it was actually Volkswagen which got this tech first of one touch up and down for all power windows, but that's gone in the MQB A0iN cars. Very German of them. Seats are really comfortable, but the City seats are actually more comfortable somehow. And you obviously get a proper dead pedal there. So first things first, I'm going to remove this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses, the Involve One Splash. Very easy to regulate. Can you see that? Super easy to regulate. And even when I open it, it does not leak at all. And it slots perfectly here. Yeah, perfectly slots there. 12 volt charging socket is there, but USB-C charging sockets, the City does not have USB-C at all. This also slides ahead. The City's is fixed, and there's storage space here. This is cooled and bigger than the one in the City. The City does not get a cooled glove box, which is going to turn off the hazards. I don't know why the position is not in the center. Listen to this, okay? Very well put together car, but recently I heard, or I saw actually on the internet, someone was driving a Virtus, went fast over a speed breaker. This thing actually came out. So quality is not impeccable here. There's no mirror here. The City gets a mirror, and the mirror closes here. It's closed in the City. So again, certain features are better, and auto dimming mirror in both the cars. Of course, here's the light placement. Let's open the sunroof. There opens the sunroof, a bigger sunroof for sure, which brings in a lot more airy feeling. In fact, yeah, that's about it. That's the maximum it opens, but that's a nice feature to have a proper sunroof, not a chintu mintu one which is there in the city. Now here you can see everything is hard plastics are galore. In the city you've got soft touch material, so the city just feels better in that regard. And we've got cruise control, you've got a lot of buttons. Now this is a fully digital instrument cluster, which is actually an 8-inch unit, although it can occupy a 10-inch unit. I don't understand why there are eyelashes on either side. So, you know, okay, some sound is coming from where? Yeah, anyways, so the thing is, they should have actually made this full digital, like not that with these eyelashes on the side. So it kind of looks like a cost cutting afterthought. And let's get into reverse straight away. So here, the reverse parking camera also has this gap on the side, and the quality of the camera is very poor. The quality of the camera on the city is also poor, but it's slightly better than the one here. So yeah, they're not doing great cameras, and they're not even doing great infotainment systems. I think this one is slightly better. This is a 10-inch unit, by the way. We never know when Volkswagen is going to reduce the size by another 2-inch and make it 8-inch, because that's something we've seen on the Slavia. It has got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, which the city does not get. City gets Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, but not wireless. So it's easy to browse, slick enough, but yeah. Again, nothing great to be really honest. And you know what? The city has better connected car tech. You can actually pre-cool your car. Yeah, that's amazing. Steering feels nice to hold here. Gets a flat bottom treatment. Of course, the horn. Not nice. Not worthy of a German car. You've got this touch sensitive controls, which by the way, the 4th generation city got it long back. But now they've gone to rotary dials, which are just better and, you know, more intuitive to use. And this is okay, fine, yeah, gets the job done. But the air conditioning is so much better in the Honda City, and you know, air conditioning issues in the 1-liter powered MQB A0iN cars is there. So that's something you have to worry about. Twin cup holders are here. There's a wireless charging pad, which the city does not get. And the most unique feature about this car, which the city does not have, is ventilation for the front seats. Yeah, oh my god, I can feel the chill there. So seat ventilation is not there in the city. A big omission. They should definitely offer that. Steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, which is kind of nice. Car feels solidly put together, but you know, hard plastics are so much now. They're full of hard plastics. Let's actually use the wipers, and there you can see, yeah, wipers do a decent job, which means we should get to the city and see how the wipers work there. Okay, yeah, engine is running. I know the engine is running. So in terms of infotainment, both are like very bad, and camera quality is also bad in both the cars. So what is good is that, you know, this car is just more solid than the city. Every time you close the door, you realize the solidity of this car. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so yeah, it's very even Stevens between both these cars. I understand the difficulty which car buyers have choosing between one of these, because it's extremely tough. And I love the fact you just put your hand inside, request sensor is there, keys in your pocket, it will auto detect and it will unlock the car. Look at the seats. Aren't they awesome here? Yeah, the seats are really nice. I think Honda's cracked it with using the right color treatment inside. Door pockets are decent size. Okay, here, one touch down and one touch up power window controls. That's kind of cool. And audio system is okay in both the cars. Here, straight away, let me shut the door. I love the instrument cluster of the Honda City, because you know what, we've actually got a G-force meter. That's right, here there's a G meter, which you can see right now. And although the whole display is kind of plain and basic, it's not very revolutionary, it's not full digital also. It's just this part is digital, that is actually analog, but you don't feel that way. Here you can get into a lot of settings. You can see so much stuff, information, range and fuel and all. And obviously in the Slavia also you can see a lot of stuff and all that stuff. But the Slavia has customizable display, so you have got multiple options there. I'll show that to you in a bit. Okay, steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake. And you know what, soft touch material. This leather piece here is nice, this wood and all. So overall the cabin definitely looks better here. And this is not that nice. It's an 8-inch unit. Let's get into reverse. So this is the reverse parking camera. Again, you can see the quality of the camera is not that nice. You've got multiple views and all that, but yeah, kind of poor. And the glove box is smaller here. Twin cup holders here in the Virtus. You have it somewhere here. Some storage space here. 2 USB charging sockets, a power outlet. No USB-Cs, unfortunately. This does not slide. This is decent sized as well. And there's no ventilated seats, but the unique feature for this car happens to be the lane watch camera, where there's a camera there which shows you a feed here, which is kind of nice. But again, the quality of the camera is kind of on the poor side. When you give a left indicator, automatically it activates. So there's a button, you press this button, it activates the lane watch camera. Okay, let's use the wipers. And yeah, I think the spray is better here, the wipers are better there. This is obviously auto dimming. Let's open the sunroof, which means, yeah, here it opens. And it is a smaller unit, no denying that fact, but yeah, that's about it. That's the maximum it actually opens. We're just going to shut it for the moment. Now, I love the fact that these controls are so amazing. Now, the air conditioning is an absolute chiller in the city, very nicely done. I just shut it at the moment. Okay, here this is not the best to use. I find the one on the Volkswagen slightly better. You've got apps and all that stuff, but it's not very fluid. Audio quality is also so between both the cars. Nothing great to hear because that's a non-branded system in the Volkswagen. And again, this one is also like, how can a company as big as Volkswagen and Honda not crack something as small as an infotainment system? I still do not understand that. If you're looking for a good infotainment system, get the word. Now, Hyundai's infotainment systems are just too good. Okay, cruise control buttons and all these buttons are here on the steering wheel. The horn, even worse than the Volkswagen. I never thought a horn could be worse than that, but yes, it is worse than that. That's kind of a bummer. You've got plenty of cubby holes here and there, but the cabin quality and feel good factor certainly feels better here somehow. And I think the seats also feel comfortable, and that display is also nice. And also certain things are actually quite impressive here in the city. I like it. So it's kind of even Steven. I would say the exteriors of that car and the interiors of this car, with the addition of ventilated seats in this car, and that lane watch camera is not very useful. So yeah, just remove that and just give us ventilation function. And the reason we are back here in the Virtus is simple, because I want to show you the various displays which we have here, which means I can press this view button and okay, vehicle key is not in the key, whatever. Don't stop ringing, will you, and stop disturbing me. I'm making a video here. Yeah, and then you can go into like a lot of settings and get a lot of information as well. So yeah, that's kind of a nice system here. I'm just pressing these buttons trying to figure out what is happening where. So yeah, there you can see you can get here into settings and you can change a lot of parameters as well. Okay, let's get out. The refinement levels are better in the Honda City. This is a 3-cylinder engine, that is a 4-cylinder engine, but you know what, the ground clearance is more here, so it kind of feels a little ungainly. Right there the City is better, but you know what, the City is kind of weirdly raised from the rear. Can you see this? Isn't this a bit too up or weird? I think this car has been repaired a little badly, because you can see, never seen so many panel gaps in a Honda City, but I think somebody rear-ended and they did not fix it properly. That's a bit of an issue. Otherwise the stance of the City is just better. But now it's about time we drive both these cars. Which is the better one? I think we should go first in the Volkswagen, because that is turbocharged. Is there no replacement for displacement? We shall find out right now. Alright, it's time to drive. First things first, we are going to be driving the Virtus, which means air conditioning off, traction control off. Get to this menu, handbrake down. We also changed this mode with the one with the tachometer. City, I will see you later. But you know what is the best thing? Okay, check the launch. Okay, here we are. Notice this. Okay, into first gear, revving the motor, rev still slightly under 4000 RPM. Wheel spin. Red lines at 6,500 RPM, and off we go. I mean, we've already gone, we've already come to a corner, and it's time to brake and turn. So firstly, let me tell you about the strengths about the Volkswagen Virtus, where it really outshines the City. That is the chassis. Now this is a 90% chassis. Why is it a 90% chassis? Because this is the MQB platform for India, which means that it is not as good as the Vento, but still 90% there. And trust me, once you drive this car, you will be blown over by the balance it has to offer. Just look at the composure, the kind of speeds you can pull through in this car through corners is unbelievable. So the suspension is better on this car at low speeds, at medium speeds, at high speeds. Braking performance is also better. In fact, check the brakes. Trust me, a lot more sure-footed than the City. Hazard light turned on its own. The hazard light button is towards the co-passenger, so that is the person who's always going to operate it. Revving the motor. Oh my god, wheel spin and off we go. So compared to the City, the suspension is way better, not only in terms of ride quality but also in terms of insulation. It's not noisy. The City suspension becomes quite noisy, and it's not a great calibrated suspension because the City is also prone to rattles. This car though, around the corners, the balance is absolutely surreal. Even bad roads don't affect it because grip levels are fantabulous. It's just so amazing how good the suspension is. In fact, I don't know how they've calibrated the suspension to be so good, both at low speeds, medium speeds, high speeds. I mean, at all speeds, the suspension is just so much better. And in spite of that, this car having a better ride quality, it also has better handling. Way better handling than the City, because the car feels so composed around the corners. Body roll is supremely well contained. And then there is the steering, which is again better here. It's very responsive. Again, could do with slightly more weight, but it is just fantastic how the Virtus is to drive when compared to the City. It's unbelievably good. They have got the chassis balance, the steering feel, everything absolutely spot on here. This car really loves the corners. It goes through them with so much enthusiasm. Just check this out, okay? There's a bad patch of road, no problem, because this car doesn't suffer even on the worst of roads. Here, I can glide through. Okay, look at the level of ride this car has. Unbelievable. There's a broken patch, no problem here. If we get into first gear and just goes through. Grip is also better. So in terms of dynamic balance, ride, handling, braking, steering, grip, everything, the Virtus is just so much superior to the City. It's unbelievable how they've got everything so spot on, in spite of the fact that they've curtailed the chassis for India with the MQB A0iN platform. It's not the full MQB. Now obviously the Vento was not MQB either, but the Vento is slightly better in all these things because it just handles and drives and everything much better than the Virtus. But the Virtus is also practical, so that's the thing why it's worth upgrading to this car. I love the dynamics of this vehicle. So we have to come to the engine naturally, and this is where the City claws back its advantage, or rather the lack of it, because it did not have an advantage to start off with. So the good thing with the City is that the engine is better in the City. Now this is a 1 liter engine, which means that the City has 50% more displacement at 1500cc. This is turbocharged. The City's engine is naturally aspirated. Here you've got 115 horsepower and 170 Newton meters of torque. So compared to the City, 6 horsepower down, but 33 Newton meters more torque thanks to turbocharging. Now a turbocharger obviously adds a lot of grunt and gives you a nice fist punch when you really need it, and in the mid-range this car absolutely flies. The mid-range is better here when compared to the City. It's very sharp and very punchy in the mid-range, pulls so strongly as well. The only thing is, you know, it's a 3-cylinder engine. City's is a 4-cylinder engine, so there's that little bit thrum of a 3-cylinder firstly, and secondly, you know what, turbo lag is there, yeah, because turbocharged low end performance is better in the City. It just doesn't, okay, taking a U-turn is easy, yeah, so it doesn't have the same level of grunt lower down as the City, because you have to contend with turbo lag, and that affects the drivability of this car. And then again, it doesn't redline like the City. Just the mid-range is very strong, but for a 1 liter engine it really punches way above its weight. And you know what, the clutch has a long travel here. The City's clutch is better weighed in that regard. The gearbox is slick shifting, the City's gearbox is better. So in the powertrain package, the City really performs well. This engine is nice, it's not bad at all. It's just that the City's is better. Now obviously 1.5 liter engine, which also is available with the Virtus, is just better because obviously it's 150 horsepower, but the City has a hybrid. Obviously not in terms of performance, but at least in terms of efficiency, that is a very strong engine as well. And here, check this out, okay, I love the composure. My goodness, the way this car corners, unbelievable. High speed stability, so nice. Now it doesn't bounce around on bad roads or on expansion joints, so that's something which is really lovely about this car. Now the thing is, I'm going to shut my mouth for a few seconds so that you can hear the acceleration and the noise as well over bad roads, so you can judge for yourself what am I really talking about, because I'm going to do the same with the City, and then you can see how much better suspension this is and how much better sounding the City is, because City sounds so much better. This doesn't sound that great, and the top end it kind of feels lethargic, in the sense that it kind of feels breathless in the top end. It's not very comfortable a car in the top end because you know, it's sort of having asthma, obviously using a turbocharger and an inhaler to get over that asthma, but yeah, that's how it is. Now there's 6 variants of the Virtus on offer. This is the petrol manual, so there are 3 for petrol manual. This is the top end petrol manual, which costs 17 lakhs 3,000 rupees. Meanwhile, the City is actually 64,000 cheaper, which is amazing, right? The City is value for money there, but in the base variant, the City is actually 34,000 more expensive. And when I was telling you about the various variants on offer, we have 6 variants. 3 are for the manual, of course, petrol manual, and there are 2 for the automatic, and then there happens to be a single variant which is the 1.5 automatic as well. Yeah, if you want an automatic, well the Virtus's automatic is just so much better because it's faster with shifts and doesn't have the rubber band effect because it's a torque converter. Here we are into first gear, and I'm going to shut my mouth and off we go. I'm actually intentionally taking the car over all these potholes and, you know, these manhole covers and stuff, so you can hear the sound. And then oh my god, the balance is unreal in this car. Okay, the composure is so freaking good. This is such a fun car to drive. I absolutely love Volkswagen for the way they make their cars in terms of balance. Is unbelievably awesome. Now, you know what, in terms of ARAI numbers, this car is more efficient than the City, and even the 1.5 liter engine model is better than the City. Yeah, 1.5 DSG is better than the City in terms of fuel efficiency as per ARAI, of course, because obviously it's got cylinder deactivation technology. But in the real world, the City is more efficient, and in terms of diesel, obviously it's 24.1 kilometers per liter official mileage, and then there's the hybrid which is 26.5 kilometers per liter official mileage. So like City really beats everybody in terms of fuel efficiency. In fact, the City automatic with the CVT box is more efficient than the City manual, but here the Virtus automatic is less efficient than the Virtus manual, because yeah, that's how it is usually, you know. CVT is more efficient, torque converter really drinks quite a bit of fuel as such. What a lovely car, you guys. I mean, the buyers are like spoiled for choice because of the level of options in the market right now. This car is so tied down to the road now. It's unbelievable. If there was a diesel in this car now, it would be next level madness as well. That's how good it is. And you know what? Honda has done a great job by bringing the hybrid, because hybrid efficiency is next level, and thankfully Volkswagen is offering us both turbocharged petrol engines, 1 liter and 1.5. 1.5 is in another league in terms of performance and almost everything, so it becomes very difficult to choose. So as I see it, the chassis, suspension, tires, balance, everything is so much better in the Volkswagen Virtus. But now it's time to swap and get into the City. Is this comparison over? Has the City already lost it? Wait a second, the City has something up its sleeve, and that is the engine. First and foremost, we turn off air conditioning, handbrake down into first gear, lane watch camera on, traction control off. You have to keep it pressed for a couple of seconds. Yeah, that is off. It says vehicle stability assist off. You know what, the Virtus actually has a better ground clearance. It never has any issue over the worst of speed breakers or bumps, but the City does have, and that also has a stop start system for improving the fuel efficiency. But still the City is more efficient because it's lighter in terms of weight. Time for launch into first gear there. Virtus is like, I can't do anything about the power of the City. Here, revving the motor, revs till 5000 RPM. First gear 59, and you can see the way this car pulls is unbelievable. First and foremost, there's a lot more wheel spin, but a lot more suspension noise as well. It looks like it's going to rain any moment, but yeah, the engine is more refined here. Obviously 4-cylinder engine, but neither of those engines can be heard lower down the rev range. That's the level of refinement both of them have. But here, okay, around the corner, it's not as confidence inspiring as the Virtus. I have to actually curtail my speed, and then when I try to push it hard, it obviously washes out as well. So that's a bit of an issue with the City. Second freaking gear, 105 kilometers per hour, and time for brake test. Yeah, it's not that reassuring in terms of braking performance because of smaller tires, of course. And here we go. 7,000 freaking RPM red line. So I'll tell you something, no matter how good the Virtus is, the City's engine is just next level. There is nothing which can, you know, beat VTEC power. Of course, there is actually something known as the turbo VTEC from Honda itself, but there's no turbocharging. It's just pure nice grunt, and this is a very high revving engine with tall gearing, which pulls a lot like crazy. In fact, the problem is that, you know, honestly, I laugh at this stupidity of the lightweight kind of making the car move around, which I actually like. Why do I like it? Simply because it feels more engaging to drive. I feel like I'm driving something which is, you know, making me work harder for it. So that's the beauty of the City. Here, taking a U-turn, no problem at all. It's very fast with directional changes. But you know what? Steering is also quite nice. Virtus steering is just better. And the grip levels are a bit lacking here. But trust me on this, the engine is such a freaking bomb. This is an engine which sounds way better than any other engine in this segment, firstly. And secondly, the best thing is that it doesn't go out of breath at all. At one point you're like, haan, khatam ho gaya. It still is pulling. You have to be conscious to pull it all the way till the red line. Otherwise, you'll not reach the red line. It's 7,000 RPM and the last 3,000 RPM. So satisfying here. It's unbelievably satisfying to drive the Honda City because of this engine which has such a massive soul. Now, of course, the iVTEC is not the same level of the VTEC which was there earlier, but still, I really like it. I really like the way this car is able to put all that power down, and then because it's really lightweight, you enjoy it. Insulation is not that great, especially from the suspension, so you can hear a lot more of the suspension. and this engine doesn't feel breathless at 6000 rpm or 7000 rpm, where the Virtus is like where's my inhaler, there's my turbo. No, there's no turbo here. It doesn't need a turbo. It is just pure grunt of 121 horsepower and 145 newton meters of torque. In fact, this is the fastest car in its segment by a mile, and when I say by a mile, I mean by a mile. Okay, check this out. Okay, here we go. First gear. Oh my god, there the poor Virtus is trying to run away, but no going away from the city, because the city is just unbelievably good. Look at the way the power is built up through this VTEC motor. It's a nice endless surge. In fact, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour comes up. Oh my god, I'm doing speeds like crazy. That is the level of grunt and performance. It's next level, this Honda City. I love the engine. It's so amazing. It's so nice. This VTEC mill is like really makes you smile big time. Firstly, it's a lighter car and with poorer insulation or inferior insulation when compared to the Virtus. So that's the reason why you feel a lot more of the speed here. And plus, this engine is so fast. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 9.9 seconds. Honda offers a lot of variants of the City, but this is the fastest. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 9.9 seconds. You know what? When I put it into numbers, this is actually a whole 0.7 seconds faster than the Virtus. Yes, that's right. Virtus has more torque, but still there's no beating raw power. There's no beating displacement, because there's no replacement for displacement, and that's something which the City swears by. So the Virtus will take around 10.6 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. When compared to the hybrid, which produces 126 horsepower and 253 newton meters of torque, the City is still 0.3 seconds faster, and that's not all. When you talk about the diesel, it is 2 seconds faster. When you talk about the automatic CVT, it's 1.6 seconds faster. So this petrol manual is just unbelievably good. And then when you come to speed breaker, you have to actually go like this, otherwise you'll skip the underbelly, no problem. Then you're like to first gear. I am not kidding, this car goes 159 kilometers per hour. Oh my god, it's so satisfying. 159 kilometers per hour in third gear. Yeah, that's right, 159 kilometers per hour in third gear. The clutch is better weighed here without a doubt, because it doesn't have long travel. The gearbox is also slicker shifting, so a lot of advantages the City has. And obviously the 1.5 liter engine in the Virtus Slavia are just better and faster, goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 8.7 seconds. But trust me, it's not how fast you go, it's how you go fast. In the City, you feel that speed, you feel that thrill, because you're sitting lower down, and you hear a lot of the sound, and the engine just sounds so much better. And then it's pure naturally aspirated monster of a motor, which really makes you feel each and every bit of the drive experience. And that is where the City really excels. Now the Virtus problem is with quality. Once I was driving, the gear lever came in my hand. Fixed. And then obviously in between it keeps making these sounds, and the infotainment system is also not 100% yet. So it's somehow I feel that, you know, buyers are actually being the R&D people for, you know, the VW group, which is not right. Here the City is just so much better, but yeah, it kind of rattles a bit, and the suspension is not that great. It's a very soft balance of suspension, which at higher speed it goes like that, and then that's not very comforting, is it? Because you don't have that kya bolte hain, security or confidence to push this car harder at higher speeds, because you know it just like bounces and all. So especially on expansion joints, you can feel that. That said, City's engine is such a freaking joy. Now obviously the automatic of the Virtus is better, because it's 0.6 faster than the City CVT, because the City CVT is rubber band effect really kills the joy, but that happens to be more efficient. But if you drive this car the way I'm driving right now, don't expect much fuel efficiency, but you really won't care. I don't know how many people actually care about the driving feel, but if you care about the driving feel, the Virtus is amazing just because of the, you know, dynamics. But honestly, this engine in the City, next freaking level. You don't have to go beyond third gear ever in your life. 1, 2, 3 are more than enough for whatever speeds you want to do, because that's the truth of this car. It's the engine, which is such a freaking amazing monster of a motor, puts a big smile on your face. Here I'm in second. Okay, I can also drive into 6th gear. Here we are into 6th gear. Now things are a little bit more calm. So, you know, if I put a direct comparison with the Virtus, this has a better low-end performance. That's the reason it has better drivability. It's easier to drive in the City. Overall controls are also lighter, visibility is also good, soft touch plastics, all that really come into play to make the City the better City car, of course, and that's the reason why its name is City and not something else. But you know what, in the mid-range, the Virtus's turbo really makes it pull hard and fast, and there's sort of a flat spot in the mid-range for the City. But the top end performance of this car, yeah, second gear, excitement, I forgot to show you the suspension behavior when I shut my mouth over bad bumps. No, I just forgot about it. I was just like so engrossed in pulling the VTEC motor to all its glory that I just forgot. It just happened like that. So yeah, so it's kind of even Stevens right now. Obviously, if you want even better efficiency, you've got the City Diesel. You want more performance, you've got the Virtus Automatic. You want the City's character in a manual, well, then you have definitely got the Slavia 1.5. And there are so many options in the market right now that next year things are going to change again, because then we are going to have the Verna, the new Verna, which is going to be dramatically improved. You're into second gear, and that's the gear to be in. And horn is so bad, wipers work well. Okay, listen to this. The City is a car which, even on part throttle, it pulls ahead nicely and strongly with some amount of reassurance. So part throttle response is just amazing here. And then you're in the top end, and from 5,000 to 7,000 RPM, the pull is crazy. But you know what? It's not very fast driving in the top end of the rev range. It pulls little slowly, but very sure-footedly. And you can hear, okay, expansion joints. You can hear a bit of the noise, so the suspension is not that well ironed out. That's a bit of a disappointment. And then obviously over bad roads, you have to be very careful because it does bottom out. No such issue with the Virtus because they have given acres of ground clearance in that car. Now the thing is that price wise also there's not much to differentiate. Like I was telling you, this City is actually 64,000 cheaper than that Virtus, which is a benefit. Obviously you're going to save some money when buying the City, but you know what, you get a better engineered car in the form of the Virtus, and that's something you cannot overlook. But there is a problem which is going to change the complete verdict today. Till that time, let me enjoy the City and pull the nuts out of this car in every possible gear. By the way, in-gear acceleration is better in the Virtus because obviously your turbocharged engine has that crazy punch, when the turbo spools up, and then you're in another level altogether. Whew. Never knew the City would be such a thrill and joy. When you drive both back to back, you realize that Honda has done an absolute mad thing by giving us this VTEC engine. Okay, now this is from the Earth Dream family. It is very similar in terms of soul as the previous engine, which was an SOHC. This is a dual overhead camshaft. So a lot of changes have happened here and there. What hasn't changed though is the soul of the City. The soul of the City is unbelievably good. So we're just going to come to a halt, which means hazard lights on, and then we are going to just gradually brake. And yeah, over the bad surfaces, that there's a loss of traction. The car can go any which ways because it doesn't have that level of grip. The kind of performance it has to offer, it just doesn't support it with the level of grip and chassis balance. Okay, now I'm going to show you a big fat trick. We are going to get into third gear. Yeah, that's right, into third gear, and I'm going to rev the motor a bit so the car does not stall. But now it's off and hazard lights are off, and now I've actually left the clutch completely, and now I'm full on the throttle. So I've actually started driving this car from third gear. Now we are full throttle, and just see the way this car picks up pace. 70, 80, 90, 100. And trust me on this, it will pull all the way till 160 kilometers per hour. That's 0 to 160 kilometers per hour in one freaking gear. That is the level of tall gearing. And you know what? No vibrations, no uneasiness, no judder, nothing, none of that. This engine is so good. This is the engine which is solely carrying Honda India forward. Or probably this car, the Honda City, is the only car which is carrying Honda India forward, because today I read a report that the Jazz has been discontinued or will be discontinued. Even the WRV is going. So essentially they'll just have the City as well as the Amaze. 2 models, that's it. It's unbelievable, right? And they're also discontinuing the 4th generation of the City. Absolute madness now. Honda, I don't know what they're doing, but they really need to buck up. They're going to be launching some SUVs, and I think a couple of those, but too little too late. Come on Honda, you can do much better considering your engines are just next freaking level. And then even when you have VTEC power, both of us are actually stuck behind that truck which has diesel power. So as I see it, this engine is the one which is the major reason why you get the City, even if you're not enthusiastic in terms of driving, because even on part throttle now, the response is so freaking nice and immediate. So this engine is really unbelievably good. I wonder what the 1.5 liter turbo would be. That would be next level, but unfortunately Honda never gives us anything good in India, right? They always give us scaled down things, which we have noticed with a lot of their cars and stuff. Anyways, yeah, we have to be a little careful over speed breakers. This is S-Team, who's kind of enthusiastic, you know, you forget all your worries when you reach 7,000 RPM, because that grunt and thrust is just next level. And around the corners, yeah, body roll is there. Obviously, both the cars have body roll, but somehow the Volkswagen engineering is just one level up, and that's why they say German engineering. Obviously, it's not complete German engineering now because things are more India specific in that regard. But both these cars have their set of flaws. None of them are perfect. So when you are parting with your hard-earned money, you realize, yeah, you know what, I'm still not getting perfect stuff, because both the car brands are actually cutting corners in a lot of places. Which brings me to the most difficult thing ever, deciding which is the one you should pick. Well, there has to be only one winner. Before that, random wheel spins for the win. So now it's time for the verdict, and it's going to be a long one, so why don't you grab some popcorn and hear me out. There's no denying the fact that the Virtus is very strong on paper, and out on the road, that strength is very much highlighted. This is a brilliant car, but unfortunately, we don't buy cars with numbers alone, because the Honda City has that feel. This petrol engine alone saves the Honda City, because the City's VTEC motor has that thrill, has that grunt, and when you take it to 7,000 RPM, you forget everything else. Yeah, the Virtus does have the better ride and handling balance. It also looks better, but you pay slightly lesser money for the City, and as an overall all-round package, the City is the one I would choose. You know why? Because peace of mind is extremely important. With the Virtus, you get a 4 years, 1 lakh kilometer warranty. With the City though, you get 3 years and unlimited kilometer warranty, and both of them can be extended. But that's not important. What's important is when you buy a City, you have the peace of mind. There are not going to be any EPC issues or air conditioning issues, and you know Honda's going to deliver the product it advertised on day one. It's not going to happen that the infotainment system will all of a sudden shrink by 2 inches. So all of that will not happen with the City, and that's the reason why I would personally pick the City petrol manual, because it's just fantastic. It gives me that feel, it gives me that thrill, it has the legacy, it is a proven product, and obviously resale value will be fantastic, along with the fact that it's lower on maintenance, better on service. I think we have a winner right here. But you know what, after a couple of years, when the Virtus would have proven itself with no air conditioning issues, no EPC issues and all that, then I would certainly look at getting one of these. By the way, my overall choice in the segment without a doubt has to be the Skoda Slavia 1.5 manual, because that offers the real thrill of driving. Unfortunately, the Virtus does not come with a manual option for the 1.5 litre engine. You do get an automatic, which is a state-of-the-art DSG. So in terms of automatics, I think the Virtus is better, because the CVT box isn't that responsive, isn't that fun. So automatic option, Virtus. Manual for the 1.5 litre Slavia. Diesel City, petrol manual City, petrol hybrid City. So there you go guys, the winner is right here in front of us. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to check out this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve One Splash. You can click here on the top right of your screen to get yours with a 10% discount using coupon code PASBEAM. Bye-bye. One, go. So now it's time for the very important so it's now second take में हमेशा होता है. छोड़ दो, मत करो, मैं बोल रहा हूँ, बस करो, क्योंकि उतना सोचोगे